Yo, I just wanted to show you this Beermoney app that I've been using for about a month now called Scrambly. I've earned close to $100 now. Scrambly pays you to download apps, sign up for services, and play games. I think most of its potential lies in its games. I think the way that Scrambly does its games is pretty unique, and like the tasks that it has you do are pretty achievable compared to like other Beermoney apps. It also has a couple other benefits that I'll talk about a little later. Scrambly also has a interesting thing where I think it can actually really help you like increase your earnings, but I'll also talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, let's get to my full screen.
Alright, really quick before we start, if anyone's curious on what Beermoney apps I continue to use or cash out from, I do have a monthly earnings page on my blog where I show what I cash out from for the whole month, every single month. Now, I do plan to talk about this on my main channel. I've been very lazy to upload on there, but whenever I get back to it, I do plan to have like dedicated videos for finances, just talking about beer money and like stocks and I don't know, investing or whatever else. But both of those will be linked in the description if anyone's curious. Now, let's get to the review. So, just to show you really quick, I've made 98 bucks and 80 cents, which is super close to 100 bucks, and I've been using Scrambly for, I don't know, like 25 days, 27 days, I don't remember, which is pretty good, or the amount that I made for that short amount of time. But this Discover tab right here on the very bottom left will take you to your page for all your offers, and this will be the main way that you earn on Scrambly. At the very top, you see gaming and finances and entertainment and services and deals. Now, let's talk about the deals really quick. Essentially, what the deals are is kind of like a giveaway or a certain event that Scrambly's running. And on the description, it'll say what to do. I think all of them will have you like make a post about Scrambly or something, or it'll tell you what to do. And then you can earn like $2 from it. And the conversion rate for Scrambly is 10 cents or 10 points equals 1 cent, or 10 or 1,000 points will equal $1. But that's pretty much all for the deals. I don't do them because it seems like too much effort to go in the giveaway that's only like $2 or something. Just talk about the finances really quick. I'm not sure if they're worth it because I don't remember the prices for all these like apps and stuff. So you're gonna have to check it yourself. But at least for the Chime out or the Chime app, I've seen up to like 480 bucks for this, so the 153 bucks is pretty low, in my opinion. And just to keep in mind for these like financial apps, most of them are like investing apps or like banking apps. And for the financial apps, I don't remember the banking ones require this, but whatever. They'll probably require like a social security number, and you only have one of those, so I highly recommend trying to find the highest offer for the like service or the financial app because you only can sign up once with social security, and you might as well get paid the most that you can for it. But that's pretty much all for the finances. I don't remember if they're worth it or not. But moving on to the gaming, I do think, like I said earlier, most of the potential will be here. At the very top, you can see the games that I've been working on and playing. And then anything at the bottom are the offers that you're given, and they're categorized by like casual, simulation, slots, word puzzle, strategy, and so on. I do think a lot of these games, I didn't look through all of them, but I do think a lot of these games are pretty high paying, if not the highest paying that I've seen for like multi-level reward games, and all of these games are multi-level reward. And for those who don't really know what multi-level reward games are, it's essentially like an offer that they give you to play a game. And every game will have a set amount of tasks. As you can see in the milestones, it'll tell you to, I don't know, like reach a certain level or reach a certain amount of power or achieve a certain amount of heroes and stuff. And you'll get paid a certain amount for it. And the further down that you go in the list, the harder it will be. The killer whale would give me 48 bucks, which is what I earned from. And it was level like 2,000 or something for this word game or something. I don't know. But I do think the pay is a lot more fair, or if not the highest that I've seen in a beer money, field for these types of games and stuff. I do have a page, talking a little more about multi-level rewards and like explaining how they lock you and how they track you and stuff, and how you can lock yourself from earning more from it. I do plan to update it very soon, or maybe not very soon, but in the near future, where I add certain apps that I recommend or certain beer money apps that I recommend getting these games from that usually pay the highest. Or I also plan to make like another page where I compare like certain offers, so you can see like, oh, this is how much you would make from this game on this app, and then compared to like this app, and I'll make like a tier list, I guess, of all of that. I also plan to have like game guides for these games as well, for any of the games that I complete or fail, just to give my opinion on whether I think it's achievable to do the game or not, or how grindy it is, or what resources I used. But essentially just a guide to help you complete the offer a lot quicker or easier, hopefully. It won't be perfect, but I'll try my best. And those will be in the near future when I have more time, hopefully. Another thing that's really nice about Scrambly's multi-level reward games is there's no time limit on them. There is a time limit for each game. Like, we'll go to the Play Doku game, and you can see, at the very bottom, like, it says 45 days. This is how many days you have to complete all of these levels. And even though it sucks to have a time limit on this, it's still better than a lot of beer money apps, because most of the beer money apps that have multi-level rewards, every task has like a time limit on it. Like, let's say complete level 5 will have, I don't know, like, do it within 1 day, and then the next one is level 15. It'll be like, oh, do it within 3 days, and then 5 days. And the problem with this is when you get further down, you're gonna have to grind really hard. Like, you're gonna have to put a lot of time into it, because they don't give you enough time for some of these, and it feels like you're cutting it like super, super close, especially when you're getting to like, I don't know, like even halfway to like the very bottom. Like, it's possible to do, but it just feels like it's really pushing it sometimes. And some of these offers might be a little hard still, where you might have to spend money, or you're gonna have to grind really hard. But it's a lot more lenient than other beer money apps that have like the time limit between or for every task. Now, another thing that's super nice about these game offers on Scrambly is if you look at the cashback, some of these will, I think a good example is the Slime Castle one, actually. You can see the cashback on a $10 purchase. Now, on most beer money apps, I didn't check all the games for Scrambly, mind you, but for most of the beer money apps, they'll push this to the middle or even the top. Like, let's say after like reaching chapter 1 wave 20, it'll say like, oh, purchase the battle pass for like $6.99. And the problem with this is, if some beer money apps will force you to make the in-game purchase before you can do the next offer. Even if you as an example, even though, let's say the chapter 2 wave 1 is the task after the in-game purchase. Let's say that you still reach that task in-game, it won't count it unless you make the purchase. And the thing that sucks about that is that it forces you to make a purchase. And most often than not, these purchases or the offer or the task to do the purchase won't compensate you enough, or like nearly enough, for what it costed you. Now, it's another thing, like I said, they don't tell you if they work like this. So sometimes you're just gonna have to find out yourself. But the nice thing about Scrambly, at least from the games that I've seen, it's usually at the bottom, or they just don't have it at all. Or they just have like a separate one where it says like cashback on purchase on the very bottom. Which is another nice thing. I do think Scrambly is a very smooth app to use as well. The tracking is very fast on it usually, and it's very reliable. And the only reason I mention this is some other beer money apps are very slow, or they just won't track at all. So let's say you finish the Starfish one. It'll usually tick that it says like that you completed it within like minutes of you completing it. Some apps might take you like 6 hours you have to wait like 6 hours for it to say that or to register that you completed it, or sometimes it just won't even track, and then you just don't earn from it, which kind of sucks. And you're gonna have to hit up support, and sometimes support can't do anything, and it just sucks. But from the short amount of time that I've been using Scrambly, it seems like it's been super reliable so far. Now, another thing that's super nice about Scrambly, or the game offers on Scrambly, is the playtime rewards. If anyone's not too familiar with playtime rewards, it's essentially just a rundown of it. It's one of the most common sponsors that beer money apps get. And what they do these days is they'll pay you a certain amount, either points or like cash or whatever the currency for the game is, or for the app or the Beermoney app that has the playtime rewards. It'll pay you a certain amount per level or per task that you do, and they're usually capped at a very, very low earnings rate. I honestly don't recommend doing playtime rewards anymore, but the version of playtime rewards for Scrambly works like the traditional playtime rewards, which is what I used to recommend. But most people won't get it anymore. But as you can see, you earn 2 cents per 10 minutes, which isn't a lot, and you're capped at 1 hour. So you only can earn 12 cents a day from this. Now, 12 cents isn't a lot, but it's super nice because, while you're doing these tasks, you're getting an extra 12 cents every single day that you're doing these tasks, which is a nice bonus. It's better than nothing. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Now, the way to unlock playtime rewards, it'll say, I don't know if there's a game that I can show you as an example, but right here. It'll say complete 40% of the milestones. And you'll know 40% when, it'll say on, the progress bars, it'll say the milestones on the very top right here. And even, looking at the game right here, you can see on the bottom with the orange, it says, 91%. Some of them will be a lot earlier. I think this word search one was 10% of the task. So when I got through 10% of the tasks, I unlocked the playtime rewards. Sometimes they're a lot later, which kind of sucks. But, for at least the earlier ones, it's super nice. It's just a nice bonus. It doesn't pay you a lot, but like I said, nice bonus. Now, I do have a gripe and a problem with playtime rewards, even though Scrambly has been so smooth and really reliable in tracking tasks. I've had a lot of problems of tracking with playtime rewards. I've only, for this word search app, I've only had it tracked 3 times out of the, 2 weeks that I've been using it, which sucks a lot. Now, I do recommend hitting up support. They are very slow. I think it took them 6 days every time I replied back to them to get back to me. So it's going to take a long time to deal with support. But they seem pretty helpful. They did compensate me a fair amount for the playtime rewards, which is super nice. So if you're having problems with the playtime rewards, just hit up support. Like I said, they're going to be pretty slow. So, just expect them to be pretty slow. I think that's mainly all that I can really talk about for the games. Actually, so throughout the day, certain games will be available and certain games won't be. For instance, let's go to my offers, which will show you all the offers that I am currently doing. And you can see my saved offers. And the way that you save offers is you hit the heart thing, or the heart icon, and it'll highlight the heart, and then it'll put it on the saved games. And it's just a nice little spot to be able to see all the games that you want to do. Now, we'll use Zombie Punk as an example. You can see it says inactive. And that's what I'm talking about for certain parts of the day, or certain times of the day, and certain days. Now, certain days, you'll have certain offers that are available to you. I don't know why they don't just put up all the offers available to you. That's just how the sponsors do it. It kind of sucks, but it's whatever. Now, the problem with this is you can't start the offer until a certain time of the day or a certain day. This only applies to the starting the offer. This doesn't mean that as long as you download an offer, let's say, this word spells one. Let's say I start this offer today, and let's say it's usually not available on Fridays or something. Even though it's not available on Friday, I can still do the offer and earn from it. Like I said, the only time that this affects the game is when you can start it. As long as you've downloaded the app and it says that you're it says that you completed the start playing the game, you should be able to earn from this no matter what time of the day it is, no matter what day it is. It just, like I said, it only applies to when you can start. But that's pretty much all that I think that you need to know about the games. I might be wrong. If I forget anything, it'll be on the blog. So before we move on to Cashout, let's go to the redeem. And you get to the redeem by going to the bonus, and then you hit the redeem on the very top. So Scrambly does have promo codes. I think they come out with them every week or a couple of months, and they put them on their social medias like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, I think. I'm too lazy to check out their social medias just to find a code, but you can usually Google. You usually can Google like if you go on Google, you can usually Google like I don't know like Scrambly promo codes, and then usually the first 2 or 3 links will have someone who tracks the codes for you. I don't know how reliable they are. I usually only do this for like the mobile games or stuff, so usually the Beermoney apps don't really have this. But usually you can find it, like I said, if you just Google search like Scrambly promo codes or something, and then click on the link. I don't know how reliable they are, but you put in the code here. I don't know all the codes that they do, but all the codes that I've seen so far are bonus codes. And what they do is they increase your earnings for 24 hours. I think the ones that I've seen are like 10% increase earnings and like 20% increase earnings. Now this is where all the potential lies in Scrambly. I think this is where like the high potential that I hope I mentioned earlier for Scrambly. And the reason for this is the code lasts for 24 hours. Now I want you to keep in mind this is going to take a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of grinding just to set this up. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but you can if you want. But let's say you pop the code and you have like multiple games that are at the very last task, right? Like this one pays like $45 for completing level 5,000, and let's say you're at like level 4,999 or something. And then you do the merge cruise, and you're also at the bottom for, hopefully this thing loads, for $50. Let's say you have like, I don't know, 5 of these games. You pop the code, and within the 24 hours, you do all the tasks that you can, like the highest level tasks that you can, and you just earn like a 20% increase bonus for all of these tasks, which is super nice because, you're earning, not only are you earning like $50 from this and $45 from the other one and maybe $100 from another thing, you're earning a 20% bonus on all of them. And it's just like, it's a pretty big bonus, right? But like I said, it requires a lot of setup. I wouldn't recommend it. At the most, I'd recommend it for maybe like 1 or 2 games. I'm gonna have to charge my phone really quick. But there we go. Oh, okay. That's pretty much all for the promo codes. I don't think they do it super often, but feel free to check out the codes. Like I said, I just recommend doing it for 1 game. Let's say you're doing Call of Dragons or something, and then you're at the very bottom task, and it says $250, right? And then earning 20% on that is like what? The $50? I don't remember. Yeah, $50, I think. Which is super nice, right? You're earning $300 for that. So keep that in mind. It lasts for 24 hours. I'd recommend, using it for super big offer and saving it for a super big offer. Now, before I forget as well, they do have the streak thing. I personally wouldn't recommend the streak just because it's very annoying to keep up and you don't earn a lot from doing the streak. But you get paid a certain amount of money for having a certain streak. I don't remember the streak numbers and stuff. I tried looking online for all of them, but I'm gonna throw some text up just to show you how much you make for having a certain streak. This is all from my own testing. I accidentally lost my streak yesterday. I was about to hit 30 days, so I don't know or I was about to hit like 28 days or something, but I don't know if they pay you more for having more than 30-day streak. So until I can maybe confirm that later in the future, I'll update on the blog. But the way that you get counted for the streak is you have to download and do one of the offers. So it could be any of the services or entertainment or finances or gaming. If you want to keep the streak going, like I said, I don't think it's worth it for so much effort, and there's no easy ways to keep the streak going because there's no polls, there's no surveys, or no other ways to earn but downloading apps and playing games. But the games are going to be your easiest way. Because for one, there's no deadline for every task. There is a deadline for the games, like I said, but there's no deadline for every task. So let's say, you do this word search one. On day 1, you do the playing the game. All you have to do is just download the game. It'll count for your daily streak because that's doing a task. And then, day 2, you do the discover starfish. That's day 2 done. Day 3, jellyfish, and then so on and so on. Now, the problem with this is when you get deeper down into the tasks for a game, it takes a lot longer. So it's going to force you to download another game and do it. This is why I don't like this system, because there are no easy ways for you to keep the streak going. Because you have to either download another game or do the task or do another offer. Like I said, you also don't get paid a lot for doing the streaks. I think that's pretty much all for the app that you need to know. If I forget anything, it'll be on the blog, but we'll just move on to the cash outs. I think I counted 25 different cash outs for Scrambly. It might be 24, I don't remember. But you have the main ones like Visa, gift card, PayPal, bank transfer, Google Pay, the Amazon and Walmart and whatever else is down here. They also have charities down here. But you have the most important one, which is PayPal. The minimum cash out is usually $1. PayPal is $1. Visa gift cards $1. I think the bank transfer is the only one that's like $10 for minimum cash out. Some of them are $5. I don't remember which ones. Now I've only done PayPal cash out, so I can't really say for the other ones. But at least for PayPal, it is instant cash out. And when you cash out the PayPal, it's going to take you to another page called Tremendous, and then it's going to have you confirm your email, and then you're going to have to click, accept or continue, I don't remember what it asks. And then you're going to have to click redeem, and then it takes 3 to 4 minutes to cash out, and it's going to send it straight to your PayPal. So it's essentially instant cash out. Now, I did read that they pay out within minutes for all of their cash outs on their website. So if they say that's how it works, every cash out is probably instant. Maybe except for the bank transfer, I don't know. But here is a screenshot of my most recent cash out, just to show you that Scrambly is a legit app and it pays and all that and whatever else. Now, just some closing thoughts. I don't think there's too much else to talk about this app. I do think it's worth using. Like I said, I do think some of these offers are the highest that I've seen, especially for the slime castle one. I don't think I've seen it more than $43. I'm not saying all the games are the highest paying that I've seen. Some of them are super low. I think Mech Arena is super low. I usually see it for $100 to $280. So compare to other other Beermoney apps, just to to see if it's high paying or not. But some of these apps are high paying, or if not the highest, like I said. There's a lot of cash out options. Some of them are instant. I think they all are instant cash out, except for the bank transfer. $1 minimum payout, super nice. I guess having the streak is kind of nice, just for an extra bonus. I'm not a big fan of it. Not having the time limit, like I said, for all these tasks is super nice. And if there is playtime rewards, that's super nice. Like I said, it hasn't been tracking very well for me. Hit up support, they usually help and compensate you pretty well. So support's pretty good as well. A lot of these tasks are very achievable, in my opinion. Maybe not for all the games, but compared to other Beermoney sites and the tasks they have you do, I think these ones are a little easier. They also don't force you to do in-game purchases, at least for the games that I look through. So that's super nice. The whole app is super smooth to use. I know it looks a little laggy because my phone's dying and I need to charge it. So don't base it off that, alright? But there's not too much else to say. I do recommend the app. I think you should try it out. I also forgot to talk about the verification, which is the most important part. They will have you do an ID. It's either a passport, your driver's license, or a resident ID card. They're gonna have you take pictures of both sides, and then they're gonna have you take a picture of yourself, and then it's gonna scan the card and scan your face to make sure it's you and all that. So there is verification for using this app. But anyways, that's pretty much all that I can really talk about on this app. Like I said, if I miss anything, it'll be on the blog. I do plan to continue using this app and trying to find out more things about it, and if I do, I'll update the blogs or the written review of this app. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to my One Piece episode. Take care.